Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday. I thought since Kendra's Card Challenge 15 just kicked off, it would be cool to take a look at some sketches and work some more on the In Color series of Kendra's Card Challenge 15 that you may have seen already. If you were watching the live streams last night, of which there were a bunch, I used the Season of Green and Gold paper to make these three cards which I like quite a lot. This paper has a lot of bling to it, so it really gives you a very rich feel. So I like how these came out. I'll put a link down below to the live stream with friends if you're interested in watching that. Also, if you've been watching my short videos, you may be familiar with this series of three cards. These are the first three cards from Kendra's Card Challenge this time around, and these guys are all using the in colors as well as some other Stampin' Up stuff. So I thought it would be fun to continue working on this, and that's what we're going to do today. I will be throwing the actual sketches on screen in the upper right-hand corner there, basically, as I'm working on them, so you can take a look at them. And what else would be worth mentioning? Well, if you're not familiar with Kendra's Card Challenge, I'm going to start putting these together, but I'll talk a little bit about it. And look how nice this petunia pop in the pink and the peach pie all coordinate together. Essentially, for this card, we're just going to be making a center panel like this, and then we are going to put a lovely little dividing strip just to cover that seam. And then we're going to do a sentiment of some sort. And I made this really cool die cut. This is crumb cake, but I inked it up with a little more crumb cake. Sorry, that's hard to see. So this is, so it gives it a little more texture. That's the natural color. And then this will help sort of add a little focal point there, essentially. So those are our pieces for this first card. So let me grab some. I think I'll go with wet glue this time because I feel like it always makes it a little bit easier. Also, if you've seen a lot of my colored card base videos, I didn't prep inside pieces this time around, but if that's something that you would like to do, feel free. It's one of the things I tend to do quite a bit. So I think I'm going to do the pink on top. It doesn't really matter. These all go really nicely together, but I think I'll do the bubbles on the bottom and the pink on top. And then I think once we put a little die cut here, I think that'll look neat. How do we feel about it the other way? Well, if we did it the other way, we get a little more contrast, but I think it makes more sense to me to have leaves at the top. Anyway, just a me thing. And this is the In Color DSP that exists for really any Stampin' Up! Color family. And I got it for free when I joined, so I wanted to make some use out of it. I'm just kind of going and making sure my border is the same on all three sides. And then yeah, then it'll be fine. I don't really have to worry too much about the seam since we're going to cover it up anyway. So, Kendra's Card Challenge, what is it if you're unfamiliar? It is a card challenge, which you probably guessed from the name, where you can turn 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper into 15 cards. It's kind of like a mini one sheet wonder, only with six pieces of paper, so you get a lot more interesting, I think, I mean, I guess it depends on your personality, right? Because if you prefer having, a full set of all the same things, which I know a lot of people like for the holidays, we certainly will do some of those. But Kendra's Card Challenge is cool because it gives you 15 individual cards, which I really like because it creates kind of like cousins that are or like siblings that aren't identical twins. So I think that can be quite nice um, for this particular challenge. And then we're going to stamp this. I did not pre-stamp stuff, but if you are working on Kendra's Card Challenge or like any one sheet wonder kind of thing, you can pre-stamp everything and then the assembly goes super fast. As you can see, we put most of this card together in about 5 minutes. I would say cutting three cards took me maybe 20 minutes, so there is a little bit of extra work. Anyway, let me grab my stamping platform. I've been really liking the stamp wheel. I actually won it free at a crop that I was at, but I've been enjoying it primarily because this sticky mat keeps everything in one spot, and then it is pretty easy. So let's grab. I do like the your friendship is the best gift. I know we've used it before, but let's grab that one. I think that would be great because I feel like the this color palette is really nice because it could be like a friends anytime kind of stamp set. I'm just going to put that in the middle. You could go a little to the left. Obviously, like this die cut is going to obscure some of it, so I don't want to go too much into the right-hand corner. Anyway, as I sort of skip around a little bit, so in addition to the card challenge giving you a lot of free card sketches, which is awesome. I always find that like card sketches for me really alleviate the kind of blank canvas syndrome that can kind of happen when you're like starting out with a card and don't have a strong idea, and that stamped perfectly the first time. That's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I'm a big fan of really, Matt, I'm a big fan of matchmaking for holiday cards, but I'm a big fan of these card challenges just generally because I don't know, I just feel like they're a good way to sometimes try things that look cool, but might not be something you would naturally go to. I mean, I think you get to use a lot of ideas. I know for me, like I never really use circles on cards because my paper trimmer doesn't make them. And this time around, there's a lot of circles, so I think stuff like that is a great reason to do really any card challenge. The Kendra's card challenge is cool because if you make a set of cards, you can enter it for prizes. So you get sort of a twofer. I mean, you get a set of cards anyway, but then you can also utilize that to potentially get like a freebie, which is cool. Her channel is Cards by Kendra, which I will link below, and you can get all the info on her challenge at her website, which will also be below. It is just kendrascardchallenge.com. But so if you're impatient, feel free to check that out. We could pop this up or not. I think I really like the clean look of this, so I think I'll keep it flat. And I only have one layer here, so I don't think this is going to bump up the sentiment too much. If you have played before, one recent change is everything is being done through Kendra's Patreon now. And the cool thing is Patreon actually just introduced a free tier for basically every creator, which I think is nice because then you can still follow people. Even if you're not like a super big into memberships of things kind of person, which I know we have several of those. Oh, I like how that lines up. Anyway, let me just glue this guy down. We talked about this before, but for some of these smaller die cuts, you really don't need to put glue everywhere. Just as long as you basically glue down the center and the edges, you should pretty much be okay. I just get a little bead of glue on my fine tip glue thingy and just sort of dot it around. The other thing you can do is flip them over and then just sort of sponge glue on them with on top of a like a silicone mat because that will help keep it situated. Then once I have it down, I usually just grab some block or other, and that'll help push it down until the glue dries. And it will also sort of through surface tension, it'll pick up little bits of glue that you don't need on your card. And that's great because then you don't really have to worry about it. It will wipe right off. And I'm just going to give it some good pressure to make sure the glue is there, and then we are good to go. So I post a lot of stuff over in Kendra's group whenever I'm working on series. So if you see me there, feel free to say hello. I'm always willing to chat. And if you have any questions about the challenge or anything like that, let me know. I do like all these community challenges. Look how cute this came out. I really like this. You could, of course, bling this up some more if you so choose, but I think I'm going to leave this more as a clean and simple card. We will move on to the next sketch. And this one is pretty fun because I think it's mostly a stamp sketch. Essentially, we're going to put the circle in the center here, and then these two pieces mat together, and then we have a couple little flag banners. as you can see. So I picked the orange here because the banners are going to be orange. So essentially, this just goes down at the bottom, and then your circle is kind of here. So basically, we're not seeing the bottom of the circle once this is all assembled. So just FYI when you're stamping things. So let's grab our stamp wheel, and we'll probably stick with a beachy theme because I've been really liking them, but be aware, like this bottom piece is sorry. The bottom piece of this circle will be covered up. So let's see what we can do. I think I'll use this fun little lighthouse shack because I think that would be kind of a. I haven't used that stamp yet. Some of it'll get covered up, but I think it'll be fine because I believe we can just put the sort of centerpiece that we're interested in that piece of the circle that will be visible. So you can see this is a pretty big stamp, but what I want to do, I'm gonna just sort of center the flag and the top piece here. And I'm not really even gonna color that. I'm not really planning to color this. You could of course do this with die cuts too, depending. I just think that like the stamping option is really easy. So I'm just gonna ink this up in a little bit of black ink. I don't think I really have to worry. I'm not gonna really bother with the bottom here because again, it's gonna be covered up. But I do want to make sure basically these top 2/3 of the circle are fully inked. There we go. I think that looks pretty neat. I think I missed a little spot in the middle there, so I'm just gonna go back in sort of over where that number 27 is. And that sort of edge of the really want to what I want to hit here is sort of that edge right there. And there we are. Oops. No, we aren't, but we're just gonna focus my pressure like right in this area where it wasn't fully stamped, and now it is, and that's much nicer. Okay, let's clean this off quickly and get our stamps put back. While we're here, we can also look into what we want our sentiment to be. Just get my black ink off. I do. I kind of go intermittent between liking the baby wipes and liking the just having an actual scrubby. Oops. Get this guy back. Where he goes. There we are. Let's use my pokey tool here to lift this up. So this is, I feel like there's so much color on this card. I really don't need to color this, but if you wanted to, you certainly could. We have a very small sentiment strip here. This is 2 3/4 by a 1/2 inch. So what I want to see is if I have any sentiments. I do think enjoy today would be a good one. It is small, so I think it will fit perfectly here. There we go. These new photopolymer stamps are a little sticky when they're new. You can use a pokey tool to move them around, of course. But let's see. Why don't we? Oh, let's just do this in black. I think that'll be fine. I really like sentiments when they're done in black. But if you want to, you can certainly do this in other colors. We were using a lot of old olive in the Christmas cards. There we go. And that looks lovely. So We are good there. Nice sentiment too. I mean, I feel like enjoy today. Like I've been just loving all my beachy things lately since it's summer. But if you are not a beachy person, or if you're more a mountain person, something like enjoy today is a sentiment that you could like as well. Going to flag cut the ends on those, but let me just clear some of the stuff out of the way first. I find that keeping my desk more or less in order certainly makes crafting easier, and then you run into less of the issue of losing things permanently on your desk. And this isn't totally straight, but I think it'll be fine. If it's one option here is we can basically just go in and make it level by just sort of trimming off the bottom here, and now it's perfectly matted. You could, of course, I think rather than these, I think I'm gonna like chevron cut this, so I'm just gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna do the same thing essentially from the I'm gonna try and match this cut like that, so that there we go. Because that feels a little more, this isn't quite right, so I'm gonna come back and just redo that. There we go. I think that looks pretty cool. Plus, like that chevron cut, I think kind of feels beachy to me. But now that we have all our pieces, this is really easy to go together. Um, that is, I think, the real benefit of Kendra sketches is that sort of once all your pieces are done, you are good to go. So I'm just going to put this in the center, and then we will put our other pieces together. You can glue. Now we could look at this. I really like the. Do we like the leaves here, or do we like the vertical stripes? Vertical stripes seem really beachy. I think I'll actually do that. This leaf pattern is kind of my favorite thing, so I'm kind of bummed that I'm covering it up. But I mean, the nice thing about these pads is they have 48 sheets of paper, so it's not like going to run out anytime soon. And this is a little too long, so I'm just going to trim this off before we continue. There we go. I would say that's one tip that I didn't realize when I did my first set of KCC is like the more you kind of clean stuff up as you go, the better off you're going to be. And make sure your card base is the right way. Because I know my first time I had a lot of backwards cards. Because it gets, especially if you're doing a bunch of these at once, it's easy to forget where you're at. Anyway, I want the purple on the bottom, and then I do like how this number 27 shows up here. Anyway, there we go. And then the banner goes in the middle, and then these flags go over here. So I'm gonna put the banner down first, I think. And if you really want your sentiments to be even, I know that a lot of people have found that T-squares are super helpful. I'm gonna just eyeball this because I have this straight line already, essentially with the lifeguard shack. And I am really liking how this is black and white because we have a lot of color going on. Um, Now this, because I pushed this down a little bit, my banner here is a little too long. So what I'm just gonna do, and I do like that we're mirroring patterns here. That's kind of cool. Is I'm just gonna cut this down so that it is a little more reasonable. What we're these do can attach here, so I'll just take a little bit off. I may cut a little off the other one too, just to add a little more contrast between the pieces. And I guess that's another good KCC tip, which is make the sketches your own. So, like, if there's a thing you want to change up, feel free to do that. In fact, to quote another YouTuber that I really enjoy, If you're doing a tutorial, you may want to change at least 2 to 3 things just to really make it your own. This one then layers on top. I kind of like the height on this. Maybe I'll just trim it a little, but making tutorials your own or card sketches or anything like that, I think always makes it both feel more you, but also it gets you out of the potential pitfall of like needing a specific tutorial to do something. And then I'm just gonna overlap these. Now that I mean, a nice benefit of these vertical lines on the pattern paper is it makes lining things up really easy. And that is card sketch number 5. I think it would actually be fun to find a red. I want a pinky red. No, I think I want like a true lipstick red. So I'm gonna hope I don't screw up my whole card. But let me just do a little coloring here. I did not use alcohol safe um, ink, so I'm going to be a little careful here. There we go. I'm just gonna do that. But I just think a pop of red will really kind of make that a little more eye-catching. Of course, you could do neon pink or anything else, like just something to kind of pull it out. But well, I really like how that looks because it was looking a little like it needed something. So anyway, I think these two are good. Those are that. And let's move on to our final card, at least of today. I hope you'll forgive me for a slightly longer than usual video, but I just think these are such fun challenges to be part of. So, on this one, we have 2 pieces we need to stamp. And as you can see, I cut my circle a little flat on one side. But that's not going to be a problem because we're going to cover it up anyway. But I just wanted to leave that in there and mention it because, and I think this will be a great opportunity to showcase this leaf pattern I like so much. Um, but like, even if you have like an oopsie, it's almost always fixable. So we're going to have a sentiment. So basically, this is how, well, not this side, but this is how the card's going to go together. So I like this being a porthole. So I may actually grab our turtle of many previous cards to stamp as the focal image here, because I think that would be neat. Although if you're not a turtle person, feel free to use any image, of course. We are very team turtle, but oh goodness, it's stuck down. Here we go. So we could do a little turtle, I think. I think a little turtle works well here. Yeah, I think like a little turtle maybe. We could do that. We could do like the whole thing as a turtle. Maybe the big turtle will work better. Yeah, I kind of like that because we can have the big turtle be sort of the whole front. And I don't think I need to dual layer stamp this. I think I'll just leave it the single layer, but the scale side of it, if that makes sense. Do 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 do. And again, because a lot of this is going to be since a lot of this turtle is going to be obscured, I'm really going to just focus on stamping sort of his head and fins. Because basically we're going to wind up cleaning up all the ink anyway. But yeah, I think his head fins. So I think we will may take a look at how this sits down. I think we need a little more of his body. This is sort of a thing where a little too much is a little better than not enough. Although the nice thing about the stamp wheel is it lets you redo it if you have an oopsie, which I do frequently. So I think this will be good. Of course, we can always go back. And I think that looks really nice. I like how that came out. But let's clean this up because I got a lot of ink everywhere. And clean this up, get our turtle off, and then continue with the card. And another thing to note about KCC that I didn't mention earlier is like the community is really great. So there is a Facebook group where you can share things, and people are just super supportive. And I think the thing that's always kind of fascinating to me is how you can have so many different cards. There was actually a live stream hop yesterday, and I will link that playlist down below if you're interested. Um, and there's all I should say there was a live stream hop yesterday, but there's also a recorded video hop as well and giveaway that's still going on. So I will link both. But the interesting thing to me about both of those really is that whoops, I guess we need to do a segment. How different people's takes on the same sketches are. I always find that to be kind of the thing that is just really fascinating to me. Let's grab another beach day sentiment because I like them. And I think I can get away with my favorite one, which would be cool, which is this wishing you a beautiful day. Um, we'll see. We can get it on here, but we won't be able to flag cut the banner, but that's probably okay. Yeah. It will fit, but we will not have extra room. There we go. And I have to always be a little careful of, see, this is a little high, but it'll be fine. Um, with sentiments of not over smushing them because it's really easy sometimes if you're a heavy-handed person like I am, it's easy to apply too much pressure and then you get kind of strange areas. But anyway, that is that. So yeah, as you probably noticed, like the turtle, the beach day, and the seaside wishes all really go together well. So that's why I've been using them a ton lately because I've been in a very summery mood, and and to me, the beach is a very summery place to be. And I actually picked a white card base for this one because I thought that with all the color going on, giving the eye a little respite visually would be a good idea. Because sometimes things can just feel very busy. So I am going to get our panels glued down here on sketch number 6. Is the first one. And then basically we can play around with where this circle is, but according to the sketch, it's mostly in the center, and I think I will stick with that as a concept. This I did cut out of peach pie because I thought, as is this base piece, because I like the idea of how all these things match together, and because I was also going to use this peach pie pattern paper. And we again have the option for the bubbles, but I kind of like the white a little bit more. Let's see how I feel with the turtle. Sometimes it's hard to tell until you have all your pieces. Yeah, I like the lighter side, I think. And the only thing we want to make sure we do is get this flat piece sort of near the bottom here because that's where the sediment's going to go. There's that. And this is a good PSA. Like, even if you mark up your cardstock, they all have two sides, so you can always use them. And for this, I want the turtle to be kind of swimming into frame, sort of from the bottom right, because I think that creates some nice diagonal movement, which will get your eye to move around. The wishing you a beautiful day will go here, a little more like this. But let's I guess we could get this on, and then we'll get the whole thing onto a card base. Depending on your personal preferences, you can pop any of this stuff up with foam adhesive too. So if you're more of a foam adhesive person, I should be a little careful with this because I just glued it down. Just gonna give this a second for the glue to stay. And like this sentiment would be great popped up too. And if we want, this overhangs a little bit. If that bugs you, I kind of like it, but if it was not anything that brought you joy, you can always, go in with your scissors and just cut it off a little bit. I'm just going to use a little ATG on here and make sure my hands are clean. They look fine, but white card bases are easy to mark up, as you guys probably know quite well. So I'm just going to make sure this is square on one side, and I think we are good. So we have done 3 more. I think these are coming out as some fun beachy cards. I'm really liking the in colors for summer stuff because I feel like they are just very summery colors. Um, the green I think will transfer well into the holidays as well, but I don't know. Let me just get the little fuzz off there, but there they are. Thanks for watching. As usual, all the Stampin' Up! Links and stuff are down in the description, as is a bunch of stuff to Kendra's Card Challenge in case you are interested in watching it, participating, doing all the things. So thanks much, and I will talk to you later.